Hi, my name is Mohammed. Thank you so much for taking the time today to do this interview with us. The total interview should not take more than 15 minutes. The interview is going to be about your experiences as an international student here and at University of Florida and in US in general. So I just wanted to remind you that there are no right or wrong answers since this is mostly about discussing your experiences. It is important that you give us your honest feedback to the questions. This session will be recorded and will be submitted for course purposes. Is that okay?
Yes.
Great. So I would like to start by getting to know you a little bit. So tell us where you're from and what do you study?
Yep. So I'm from Seoul, South Korea, and I study educational technology with a focus in user experience design and learning experience design at UF in the College of Education.
Great. So how many people do you have in your family?
I have, including myself, four, my parents and my younger sister.
And do you live with them here in the US or are you living here by yourself?
I'm living by myself right now, and my younger sister and my parents are living together in Seoul.
Great. So for my next question, I'm going to give you like four brackets, and you would place yourself. So in terms of like demographics, like you can choose one bracket which your age falls into. Option A is below 18, option B is 18 to 20, option C is 20 to 30, and option D is 30 plus.
Um, Option three.
Option C. Great. I will
Awesome.
note that down. All right. Uh, can you please give us a little more detail about the program that you study in and what type of research work that you're doing?
Yeah, so I entered the educational technology program 2 years ago, and I am studying, my focus is in virtual reality and augmented reality, and also in mental health and mental well-being. So more focused on like psychoeducation as well.
Great, that sounds really cool. So how long have you been in the United States and specifically at UF?
I've been in the States, I've been back and forth like Korea and the US, and a total would be like 20 plus years overall. And with UF, I came here 2 years ago during COVID, so like 2 years now. Yeah, two, yeah.
Great. So along with your academics and your work, do you have like any hobbies that you pursue?
Besides academic, I'm a yogi. I love doing yoga and also going to farmers markets and like um yeah, going to farmers markets. I think that's like fun for me. I love plants, and so I do some shopping on that. So I think that's yeah, a lot of self-care stuff.
That sounds amazing. Okay, so since you're an international student in the US, I want to discuss about what issues would you say that you face as an international student living at U in UF?
Like challenges.
Yeah,
Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm like starting from my undergrad. I think it was, well, I think I experienced once like racism, so that was really hard for me. Like because it was not like a toxic, it was kind of a toxic environment to be in when it comes to like interacting with like just like American peers. And so that was hard, but that was like the only incident that I experienced that. But other than that, I think the biggest challenge is just like loneliness because your family is not around you. Most of my families are in Korea. And so I think, yeah, that really kind of took a toll on my mental health of yeah, struggling and navigating through loneliness and building relationships with people that I never met before. But I feel like I got a hang of it. But I think that was like the biggest challenge, like relationship building.
great. Thank you for sharing that with us. So when you started 2 years ago at UF, how helpful were the university resources in getting you settled in the program?
Not really, because everything was on Zoom. I remember my first semester, everything was on Zoom. My first year, like PhD was fully online. So the only resources that I can get was like what is it? Those weekly emails or being in the listserv, and they do provide like general information, but I didn't really get a lot of good information about how to settle well in the graduate program or any like emergency resources here in Gainesville. Um, Even like academic resources, like I had to kind of dig into the graduate school website and like find it on my own. So I don't think I officially got like good information in this from the start, like an orientation, like it was not really that helpful for me.
Great. Also, along with that, did you like have any struggles with housing or finding a good living situation?
That's actually kind of an exception. So I got my master's in Orlando, and so I lived in an apartment complex. And then I was searching for apartments here in Gainesville, but then I found out that the apartment complex that I lived in Orlando, they also had one in Gainesville too. So I didn't have any trouble like choosing one, so I just moved here right away. But I keep getting like off-campus apartments or on-campus apartments like emails in the listserv at my UF email address until now. So yeah, but then other than that, yeah, I didn't really struggle a lot finding housing.
Great. So, along with studying, like, do you attend any social events in Gainesville?
Yeah, through like asking around friends and colleagues, I was able to get familiar with some local events that are happening in Gainesville. But then again, like I also have to like dig in and like find it out by myself too through the like internet search.
Great. So, based on your experience, what would you say are the factors that contribute to maintaining a healthy social life?
Mm. I would say just really carving out time and hanging out with your like colleagues. I started off with making friends with like people that I met in my class. And because I didn't know anyone. And so starting from there, just like trying to hang out regularly every week, I think that's really helpful for you.
Great. So, did you experience like any cultural shock when you moved to US or when you've been traveling back and forth compared to your hometown?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely I did when I first came to the States. Well, when I first came to study abroad, actually, because I was back and forth. I feel like there was some culture shock, like the language. I had to pick up the language. I did pick up the language pretty quickly, but just communication was a little bit tricky, like the first couple of months with people. And then what else? Yeah, the food. I think food was kind of a struggle because I'm just, yeah, 'cause it's very different. So language and food, I guess, would be the biggest one.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Well, this brings us to our last question. As you know, like every year, there is an influx of international students who come here to pursue their college or graduate degrees. So, what are some of the recommendation or advices that you could give to the incoming students?
I would say don't ever hesitate to ask for help. For me, like I think a lot of international students like tend to deal things on their own or internally try to figure things out. But I think you really need to ask around for help and for resources because at the end of the day, I mean, like the school is there to help you. So I think it's really important to ask for help and figure not just like what are you being like being self-reliant.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That would be all for the interview. Thank you for taking the time. I'm going to stop recording now.